Hi, Patrick here, and welcome to Instant Customer TV. Today, we're going to talk about life coaching, and with us, we have Madeleine Morgan, who's a master life coach. So, Madeleine, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Patrick. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's great to have you here. I'm looking forward to asking you some great questions and have a conversation with you. So I thought maybe we could start with the first question that might be on people's mind, which is, what is life coaching, or what is a life coach?
Yeah, well, as your life coach, what I'm here to do is help you to get from where you are in your life to where you would like to be, and in any area of your life, and basically to help you overcome the obstacles of getting from here to there. So whether you want to have more confidence, or a more successful career or business, or more fulfilling life, personal and work relationships, I can enable you to do that journey more skillfully and more comfortably and much quicker.
Okay, great. So I'm thinking here. So, okay, so people are where they are today, and then there's the place where they want to be. So in between that, you said something about the obstacles. So what are the kind of obstacles that, in your experience, that people have in their lives?
Well, it can be quite various. Sometimes you just feel they don't have the time and money to make a change. Sometimes it's a difficult past experience. So, for instance, if they've had a relationship breakup, they feel very wary about going into the next relationship, or maybe they've had a bad experience at work and their confidence level has gone down and they need to rebuild themselves, and they want some help with that. Sometimes it can be a mindset thing, lack of self-esteem or confidence, or a habit of perhaps thinking the worst is going to happen, and they want to change that kind of thing. And sometimes it's just a lack of skill. Maybe they need more skill with dealing with difficult conversations and situations, or perhaps better time management, those sorts of things that are going to help them get to where they want to go. And perhaps it's sometimes even that they don't know what they don't know, and that through the life coaching process you find that out.
Okay, great. So people might be wondering, what's special about the life coaching or the life coach relationship. They might be thinking, well, I can, talk to a family member or a colleague or a friend, or read a book, or I can do it by myself. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's a good question, and something that often people ask themselves. I think that one thing about what's special about life coaching is you can read a book, that's for sure, and there are plenty of them. However, a book can't interact with you, can't show you, talk to you, ask you good questions, and tailor the coaching to you. And sometimes buying all those books, I've done it myself, you read through them and don't actually do the exercises. And then it becomes shelf development rather than self-development. In terms of our friends, family, colleagues, they can be very wise, they can be experienced, they can have useful perspectives. But there are 2 or 3 things that you need to be careful of with them. One of them is that they might be part of the problem that you want to talk about. And so they're not going to be that objective person that you need, that a coach can be. The other thing is that they might jump to solutions. I don't know if you've had this experience where people, you say you've got an issue or a problem, or got a decision to make, and somebody says, well, it's obvious, just do this. And then you think, oh, I'm not the kind of person who would do that sort of thing, or it doesn't seem to be a complete solution. And then you're in that awkward place with them where you've asked them advice, but you don't want to take it. And I think the thing with the coach is that it's a much more place to discuss and find out a bit more before you actually come to any kind of solutions. I think the other thing is that it's confidential, and sometimes you don't want people around you to know what you're dealing with. I know a number of my clients like to turn up to work and go, ta-da, that they've been working away, beavering on their self-development in secret, and then they come to work more resourceful and that sort of thing. And so I think the other thing is some of the decisions that they're trying to make will affect other people, and so again, other people can't be objective coaches to them because they have a stake in what you choose. Coaching provides a really good space then to see things from new perspectives, to be with somebody who's non-judgmental, who's there to listen and guide, but not to dictate to you what you should do and how you should do it and so on. And also to really help you get to the heart of things. Sometimes when our friends or our colleagues offer solutions, it's a bit like going to a doctor and you say, I've got a pain in my head, and the doctor says, oh well, and a bad doctor would say, well, here's an aspirin, when actually what you need to do is drink more water. So coaching is about finding the real solutions to issues and problems. It's a guided conversation rather than a random one. And I think the other thing is that life's more complicated than it used to be. And there are a lot more choices and there are a lot more opportunities, and it's a question of, well which one? So I think those are some of the reasons why that makes the coaching relationship special. One other thing I was thinking of is actually you make an appointment and you do something. You turn up and you have a constructive conversation and you get actions out of it. Whereas if you don't have that accountability, you can set New Year's resolutions, for instance. I don't know if you've experienced this. You set them and then a week later they're broken. And the great thing about coach can help you stay on track.
That's great. Well, thank you for answering that. I mean, that clears up, and also you get an insight to how powerful coaching can be. So, so who comes to a life coach? That might be a question that people are thinking.
Yeah. Well, these days, people from all kinds of walks of life. It used to be more of the province of executives, for instance, but nowadays, I've worked with students who want more confidence to go to university, to people who are dealing with personal and work issues, in their 30s and 40s, to people who've retired and want to make the most of, they're still active, they want to make the most of that time in their lives and still have a sense of purpose. And so it can be men, it can be women, and all kinds of issues. But what I find most of my clients are, they tend to be people in their 30s and 40s, they're managers, they're professionals, they're business owners who have a lot on their plate. They've got to manage themselves, they've got to manage others, they want to do it in a way that's family friendly, that gives them a great work-life balance, and still achieve lots of interesting and exciting things.
Great. So with the coaching, it sounds fascinating, and it seems like there's so many things that a life coach or life coaching program that you, for example, deliver to your clients can handle so many different issues. So how is it that coaching can do that? I mean, people might be thinking that.
It's a good question, and I know several of my clients have said to me, it doesn't seem to matter what I come with, and I don't even have to tell you before I come, and you're able still to deal with whatever is thrown at you and find something useful and valuable for me to take away. I think partly it's my years. I've been 15 years in coaching now, which is quite a long time for a young industry. And so I've got a lot of experience of coaching a wide range of issues. I think the other thing is the tools that I have are brilliant. I'm a life coach, but I'm also a personality profiler, so I can do those psychometric tests that help people with career choices and choosing their teams and or choosing the right life partner for them as well. I'm an NLP master practitioner and trainer, and NLP is a fantastic toolbox for helping people to deal with all kinds of emotional and practical issues. So there's a lot in my toolbox to share with people, and people never get to the bottom of that toolbox. And then at the same time, I'm an absolute learning junkie, so I keep adding to that toolbox all the time and bringing it up to date, modernizing it, so that what I'm sharing with people is like the cutting edge stuff, you know, to help them get through those emotional or practical issues in their lives.
Yeah, sounds great. So why do people come to a life coach? I mean, we sort of touched on it maybe earlier, but you know, what motivates them, or what is it that makes someone reach out to a life coach?
Yeah, often what can initially trigger it is an emergency, and sometimes an emergency in their eyes anyway, and sometimes that can be a good one, and sometimes it can be a bad one. And so what I mean by that is perhaps it's a promotion, and they suddenly realise that they've taken on a lot more than they expected, and what got them to there isn't necessarily going to be enough to help them succeed at that new level. So it's good news, and at the same time very challenging. Or perhaps they just met the person of their dreams and they just want to make sure they don't mess it up. And, you know, perhaps they've had some experience in the past and they really need to do better than they did before. And so on the difficult side might be a divorce that's coming up, or they're in the middle of, or it might be a redundancy, or even a bereavement. And they just want some support to get through some of those difficult things more confidently and skillfully. Sometimes people are wanting to make choices, you know, a new career direction perhaps, and they're rather confused by all the choices that there are, and I'm not sure how to choose. You know, sometimes people have fallen into their career or their relationships just instinctively, and when they don't work out, then they haven't got a process to make the new choices, and that, so, you know, sometimes they come for that. Sometimes that they lack confidence and they know they're losing out in their relationships or their career or business success or their wealth because of it, and even their social lives. Sometimes they feel stuck in a rut and they want to change. They're fed up with the way things are, and they know that if they don't come and see a coach, they're going to do something rash, you know, like just throw up their job and resign. And they know that probably cause a lot more problems. They'll be out of the frying pan and into the fire. And so rather than, you know, do something rash with that frustration, they come and talk to me and find a better way to go forward. And then sometimes they're ambitious. You know, so even ambitious people sometimes lack confidence because their goals are that much bigger, and there's always that sense of, will it work out? You know, sense of needing more certainty, and they need support to be able to achieve those more ambitious things.
Okay, great. Well, that's really good, and thank you for going through that. It's you know, it's interesting to hear. So, and I also know, Madeleine, that you've been really successful with your clients and facilitated great, you know, results with them. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about the success your clients have had when they've been working with you.
Yes, I've had lots of successes. There are loads of testimonials on my website, but if I just pull out a few, Ben is one of my favorites. He's working in a software company, and in his appraisals he would often get needs more confidence in his feedback. And he found himself a bit intimidated by some of the other colleagues, especially the more senior ones. And at the same time, he felt really overworked, like there was a lot on his plate. And basically what he came for is, you know, he said to me, get me out of here. And I had, you know, of course, had every sympathy with his situation, but I could see that actually, if he could develop more confidence, that he would fly. And so what we did was we built up his confidence. I also shared with him some great networking tools that he could have confidently network with some of the movers and shakers in his company. And at the same time, we really brought out all his strengths and the things that he was good at, and found some really good unique things or special things about him that he could become known for. One of which was interacting with clients and experts within the company and the sales team to pull them together to provide a fabulous service for clients that made them want to buy from the company. And as a result of that, in his next pay review, he got an 11% pay rise. And then as we continued to work together, he got headhunted within his company for a management position, and now he's a manager. And he also got a merit rise in his pay as well. And he's continuing to work with me because although he got some very good training, management training from his company, he really values that one-to-one opportunity to talk about issues and apply all the things he's learned. You know, there's a lot to remember in an intensive training, but to help him keep dealing with these things smoothly, keep his career going in a very good direction. And I think that is the thing, that sometimes emergency coaching can turn, it may stop, you know, after 6 sessions. It may be the person says, I'm done. But some people like to continue because they really value that relationship, and they're helping with their continuing development and continuing progress. And he was one of those people. In terms of, you know, thinking about other examples, there's Alice. She was a mum, a manager. She'd actually worked in some, you know, really high-profile companies, but she wanted to downsize her life a bit, you know, make it a bit more family-friendly. She was a single mum, and she was totally skeptical about whether she could have the job of her dreams. You know, she thought, well, I've either got to work for less or I've got to work for more hours and have more pay. And actually, when we worked on her CV, her interview skills, her confidence, and I also brought in some other resources for her, and very quickly she just landed the job of her dreams. So now she's, you know, works part-time in a really fulfilling job, but she also has time to spend with her son. And you know, that was very satisfying to see her do that. Wow. And then we've got Mary. She was a stay-at-home mum. I mean, she did help with some of the, you know, the family property portfolios and that kind of thing, but mainly she wanted to be there to look after the kids. But it was getting to the point they were entering their teenage, and her and her husband were not getting on very well. And she didn't feel justified to split up the relationship because of the kids. And so what we did is I shared with her some communication skills that she could try out, so that if they worked, great, you know, the relationship could continue. But if they didn't, it was because her husband was not prepared to step up and become more mature in their way that they related to each other. And she actually found the second thing, that he wasn't willing to become more mature. But then she could make a really certain decision about the divorce, and she filed for divorce. And I helped her confidently go through that process, and then to rebuild her life, you know, decide what she wanted to do. And I helped her set up a business which she's successful in now. So it's really exciting just to see people, you know, blossom and flourish and lead exactly the kind of lives they want to lead. I mean, somebody who's just popped into my head is Alan. He was a lawyer, fairly new, young professional, and he realised he'd been given a mentor, but the mentor was quite an aggressive sort of person, so he found it difficult to work with him. And he also found some of the clients very demanding. So what he did, so he came for coaching, we built his confidence, and he was able then to deal with all those things, bring in new business to the practice, and really speed up his career and enjoy it as well, and, you know, feel really fulfilled by it. And then there was Kate, who's a newly appointed manager, lacking self-confidence, feeling that her time management was all over the place, and that her social life was also suffering because she was working too long hours to get what she needed done. And again, we worked on her confidence, but also her skills and dealing with some of the difficult situations managers have to deal with. And she, again, after that, she really flew with her career. She also realised her work-life balance got much better as well, and so she was enjoying her work and her social life. So those are just some of the things that I've helped people to work with. I've helped lots of people with relationships, making them work, whether they're personal or working relationships. You know, people who've perhaps gone into business together and actually are, you know, grating up against each other, and then helping them to see how they can work better whereas they thought they might have to split up the business or split up the personal relationship, they've actually been able to get the best out of each other, and it's renewed the excitement of working together and working together in the business and their personal lives.
Wow, that's great. Well, it's very, very inspiring to hear those stories and the transformations that you facilitate with your clients there. It's really interesting. And you know, people might be watching right now and they feel it's time for them to do something. You know, you might be watching right now and you feel like you're here, but you want to be here. And you heard Madeleine go through and share with you the stories, but also how she approaches everything. So you might be wondering now, and this is sort of the question here, Madeleine, is what is maybe some advice you could give someone who wants to choose a life coach for them?
Yeah, good question. There are many life coaches out there. I think there are 3 or 4 main things that people need to consider. One is the qualifications. It's good to get somebody who's professionally qualified as a life coach. I have a diploma in professional life coaching, and I also have a business coaching qualification as well. Personality profiling, really valuable tool to be able to share with clients. So that can be very important too. So the qualifications are important. I think also the experience a coach has had. I mean, I've had 15 years experience and lots of different situations to help people through, and as a result of that, being able to help them be happier and earn more and so on. So I've worked with thousands of people, but it's not just those personal professional experience, but also personal life experience. I've set up a business of my own. I've had a career too. I've worked abroad and come back and started from scratch. I've had a divorce. I've had various family challenges to deal with. All those sort of things of living life. And life experience can be so valuable combined with that coaching experience and qualification and training. I think the third thing is the rapport. It's got to work as a relationship. You've got to like each other, otherwise it can't work. And so it's really important to have a session, a free session. A good coach will give you a free session, a discovery session, where we talk about where you are and where you'd like to be, and get an idea of how it could bridge the gap, but also give you an opportunity to ask your questions about life coaching, and to see if you like working together or could like working together. Of course, it's also important for the coach to check out that they have the skills and experience to deal with the particular issue you want to talk about. So I think those are the things, really: qualifications, rapport, experience, and a free session just to see if the relationship works.
Great advice. So if you're watching right now, you got some nuggets here that you can take with you when you're choosing a life coach for yourself. So Madeleine, people are watching right now and they might be in that space where they do want to take action. They can see the power now of life coaching, and they can see what kind of results that can be created. So they want to take that step. They want to go on that journey, and they want to, take that next action step. So what is, if people want to learn more or they want to get started, how do they do that?
Well, I've got 2 options for them. One is if they want to just have dip their toes in and get some good advice and some coaching. They can download my e-confidence course. It's an e-confidence and life mastery course, really, and it's a free course that they can download from my website, buildingselfconfidence.co.uk, and from that they'll go onto my list, and then I'll send them weekly success tips to help them deal with different situations in life. If they're feeling like, no, I've read enough, I'm ready to take action, then I offer that free discovery session, so I can really get to know where you are in your life and where you'd like to be, what are the hidden obstacles that are holding you back, and also what will it take to create that life you want. And answer all those questions, and that's a free session. Again, if people email me or phone me, they can book one of those too.
Well, that's a great offer. Was there? Well, did I interrupt you there? Were you going to say something else?
No, I think that was it, really.
Okay, great. Well, I think it's a great offer. So, and now as you're watching this and you can see the power of coaching and life coaching, and you feel the desire within you to take that next step where you want to go from point A to point B, you feel frustrated where you are today, or you might feel stuck, and you've seen here what Madeleine has shared with us today. So you can take action now, take that next step by going to our website, which you can see here below, and go there and, you know, download the free reports, or if you feel like you've read enough and you're ready to do it, ready to take action, then book in a free discovery session with Madeleine and take that step now. So Madeleine, is there anything else that you would like to say or add before we finish?
Yeah, I would say that that free discovery session can take place on the phone or Skype or face-to-face. I have clients who are abroad and all over the UK, although I'm based in Cambridge. But then I also wanted to say that, you know, going on the life coaching journey is a really exciting one. I have a coach myself, and you know, I'm sure a lot of my success is down to the fact that I've been coached, and I know that it'd be a shame for people to miss out when, you know, the coaching relationship can give them so much happiness, so much excitement, so much success, and so much wealth too.
Great, great. Well, thank you so much for being here with us and taking the time and answering these questions and sharing with everyone. Appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome, Patrick. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, great. Thank you.